does not pray to only get if can afford it. Why do we make pastors pastor? If you give your money to pastor, it is your business.
Okay.
The other thing, let me tell you, I remember this issue of private jet or no private jet. Someone had a blistering attack against Daddy Gio, Pastor Adeboye. And I wrote an article in this day. I said, whosoever says Pastor Adeboye does not need a jet is ignorant. Because even me, one day I was going to Seychelles. I left Ghana in the morning to come and take my flight. We were going for a wedding of a family friend. We got to Lagos. By the time I got to Lagos, they said I just missed my Kenya Airways flight. I went to Kenya Airways office. They said, oh, sorry, sir, you missed our flight. But there is a flight in the evening from Ghana that can still get you to Kenya tomorrow morning. I went back to Ghana. By the time I got to Ghana, we were supposed to fly maybe at about 9-10 p.m. The flight did not arrive until 4 a.m. At 5 a.m., we boarded. Then they said, oh, there is no aviation fuel in Ghana. Then they brought us to Nigeria. From Nigeria, we went eventually to, by the time I got to Kenya, I missed my connection to Seychelles. That is what people face. Anybody who understands flying will know that a pastor who is ministering to virtually over 100 churches, in fact, thousands of churches are in over 100 countries, needs a jet to perform his duty.
Okay, Mr. Dele Momodu, I'm sure the people who still want to argue with you will still argue with you on this. But let's look at other issues so that we can see how we can exhaust. Let's look at another issue that the author mentioned. For now, he's still an anonymous author, except you're able to help us with the name. Now, another thing he said is that when you talk about stable electricity in Canaanland, when you talk about water supply for 15,000 residents, and they are also planning waste to electricity. These are the language we hear from people from time to time, that Nigeria is working towards this, Nigeria is working towards that. Another argument from this side is that don't compare that small hectares of land with the large span Nigeria of 200 million people. So is there a justification, so to say?
I personally will never compare a small church to a country. Just like I will not compare Rwanda to Nigeria. But I still have a right to say Rwanda has electricity. It doesn't mean I'm comparing. I still have a right to say Ghana lost their electricity, and in 2 years they were able to have 824 megawatts added to it. And you understand? Nigerians are so sensitive sometimes that once you say something now, if I say Jonathan is a good man, then somebody says I am fighting Buhari. No. Saying somebody is good does not mean the other person is bad. I'm saying what I know about you personally, and I can tell you that Bishop Oyedepo's church today has a university that is rated amongst the best in our country. So what is wrong with that? How does that mean that I'm comparing him to someone else? I went last year to deliver a lecture at Mountain Top University. So does that mean that I am saying the church or the pastor is better than others? I gave a lecture also in Iwo at the Baptist University in Iwo. You know, does that mean I'm saying the pastor is better? So the truth is, even a lot of us, I went to a Catholic school as a young boy in Ile-Ife, St. John's Grammar School. I can tell you that St. John's Grammar School was far better than what we have today when it was under the Catholic missionaries. So why can't we try and appreciate these people? Why can't we encourage more of such? In fact, maybe Nigeria would have collapsed, but for the private sector. If we run Nigeria the way we all run our homes and businesses, substantially, things would improve. Okay. But everybody gets power and then begin to run it anyhow because it is not my own.
Mr. Momodu.
So I would rather encourage more Oyedepos in Nigeria. I will definitely encourage more Olukoyas in Nigeria. I will encourage more Yaduras in Nigeria who are doing charity work. Esther Ajayi Foundation and all that.
Okay.
I will encourage GO.
Mr. Momodu,
there's nothing wrong with it.
Still on the school of thought. I'm happy that there is a small kind of departure from your stand and the author's stand. Another thing the author did say is that he mentioned things like, okay, I think you talked about that, the 25 megawatts to when Nigeria is still struggling with 7,000 megawatts. But still on these schools, the argument again is how many people will remind us when the missionaries came and how they gave free education and how government is struggling to give free education compared to this Covenant University, compared to some of these private universities that a good number of people cannot afford. So what exactly are you calling for in clear terms? Are you calling for real capitalism or welfareism?
I remember Chief Moshood Abiola saying that nobody should glamorize poverty. What we're encouraging is poverty mentality. Okay? Everywhere in the world, there are private schools. Some call it public schools, like in England. And you have to pay. It doesn't matter whether you are poor or not. If that's your dream, or you get a scholarship. Okay? In Nigeria today, it should be the duty of government to at least provide free quality education, because I don't believe that it should just be free. There should be quality education, primary, secondary, so that we can catch them young. The universities, of course, nobody has forced anybody to go to Babcock or any of the missionary universities. There are other universities. Ife is there, Unilag, they are all there. Nsuka is there, Abu is there, they are all there. So it's a matter of choice. Please, let's stop all these witch hunts. If you run a private organization, I don't want to call it company because you cannot describe a church as a company, but if you run a private organization, and if it's a church or a mosque, please, for God's sake, let's allow those who want to go, and those who don't want to go, not to go. Because what will happen when you say you are going to appoint trustees for a church? I know Nigeria. We make laws sometimes with predetermined motive. That is, look, there is a proverb in Yoruba that a woman whose child has been killed before by a witch will always suspect every woman. So the suspicion, what is leading to all this, when they say, but in Europe they regulate them, but do we have this kind of religious conflagration? In London, you have a mayor who is a Muslim. It has never happened. Do you understand? So people are able to resolve their situation. What is going on in Kaduna now? Is it going on in London or in America? So let's begin to tolerate ourselves. When that happens, nobody will suspect. When you appoint judges and then overnight, in the middle of the night, you can remove them and find enough laws for justification, to justify the removal without going through what all reasonable people will consider as due process, then don't be surprised if people are saying tomorrow they might mistakenly, just the same way we've seen even dead people appointed in Nigeria, tomorrow you might find a Muslim coming to regulate a church or a Christian coming to regulate a mosque. And then what will happen? Breakdown of law and order. Let us do laws that if we don't have electricity in the next 2 years, we are going to appoint a board of trustees for the government to take over the running of the affairs of Nigeria. Let us make laws that will say in the next few years, if there is no water or housing in Nigeria, the government will abdicate from the throne, and then we will have board of trustees to manage Nigeria. When you do that, you will see that a lot of people will support it.
Mr. Momodu, let's go home with some clear messages, especially for those who are watching, because we don't want to leave them hanging. How, in practical terms, can the government, which is actually the crux of the article by this anonymous author, how can the government learn from those religious leaders? I agree that it is from the microcosm that you have a bigger picture. So how do we, learn? Because some will say it's easy to tell your followers what to do, but we have this kind of a